Can't believe we're back. It's been a while. It's been a quiet 2 weeks. Oh, I can't say it's been quiet. I know why it's been quiet. I haven't heard Parker Ray's voice.
What?
Oh,
loud.
There it is.
I'm not back. Quiet. Oh, quiet. Yeah. I'm quiet. I'm quiet. You said I'm quiet, right? I'm quiet.
Just break some eardrums right out the gate.
That's what all the kids think. They think I'm quiet. Mr. Ray, he's quiet. He doesn't yell at all. I've been yelling a lot these past 2 weeks. It feels great. The boss kid's around. It's awesome. It's actually, I probably shouldn't say that's my favorite part of the job, but it really is.
Your favorite part of being a teacher is bossing around the kids.
They're scared, man. They're at that age, 6th grade. They're at that, like, almost where they're not scared. But I don't know. I find ways to scare them. So it's all about fear. That's great motivation. That's how the old Romans used to do it back in the day. Just fear. That's how they ruled.
They've always said that fear was a great motivator. I guess like you can
fear's the best motivator. Respect, love, fear. That's how you get stuff done, Reed. Take notes.
I will have to take notes, but I'll just try and instill fear in the coaches when I need quotes from them. That'll be my.
Well, hey, you're a media guy. You might have to like show up with like some axes or something. But yeah,
I'll make it work. Welcome, everybody, to the 1203 Experience. We are back. You probably missed us the last 2 weeks. We've had a lot going on, been super, super busy personally. Parker has started up his teaching career. Ryan, yes, Parker is in the Bahamas. Sometimes you just need a break from a teacher. It's been a hard 2 weeks for my guy, Parker.
And I'm already taking breaks. Middle of the week. Don't know how I'm going to get back to Kerrville in time, but class ended and I got on my private jet and sent out to the Bahamas. I was just at the club before this. I was at the club. Then I decided to jet over to the Bahamas. I'm living life. I'm a jet stream guy now. I mean, I'm just going hustling and bustling. That's what I'm doing.
You got your own private jet with that teacher salary you're making now.
Teacher salary, private jet. Yes, it's actually just like some bamboo twigs all taped up, and it's like a propeller. And I just stick it on my head.
With some balloons.
And then I take it off like the Flintstones, and then I just fly off. It's actually pretty cool. You should see it sometime.
You'll have to fly out to Snyder with it. I don't know. We get some pretty rough wind. You might get thrown off course.
Wind's a problem for me, and actually taking off is a problem.
You just got to run real fast and jump.
Yes. I run and jump, and I have to have a lot of space. I'm like the Incredible Hulk. When I get a good running start, but sometimes there's like earthquakes and debris flies everywhere. So a lot of people don't like when I go places.
You just destroy the neighborhood. Parker's going flying again.
There he goes. He jumped.
It must almost be time for the 1203. He's flying off to some. Last time we were live, he was at a Rockets game, which we're going to talk Rockets.
I was at a parallel universe. There was actually fans there.
No COVID in that universe. It was awesome. We got to talk to James Yasko. A great interview.
Yeah, that was a good one.
If you haven't seen that episode, it was the last episode posted on the anywhere you get your podcasts, iTunes, Spotify. We talked to James Yasko, Astros County on Twitter.
We're like Joe Rogan. We're on all the networks.
We're super important. That's what we're trying to say.
We're right up there with them. The experience. Guests. It's right. There's two different kinds of experience. There's Joe Rogan experience, and there's 1203 experience. And
what other experience?
Other ones don't matter.
Nah,
I don't know.
There is no other important one.
What a life you want to live. I don't know. Pick one. Pick a life.
Have you been the past 2 weeks? How's life been for Mr. Parker Ray?
Busy like yourself. Just getting these kids going and they have these journals they have to write and these 40 book challenges we have to do with basically encouraging kids to read and write in their journals. So that's kind of what been the start is, and just getting to kind of know the kids a little bit. That's been pretty much most of the bulk of the work last week. And this week we're starting to do more, I guess, stuff involving like heroes and stuff like that, like cool fantasy heroes and stuff. I'm actually incorporating like actual like heroes they like they see on TV. I'm actually incorporating that into lessons. So it's kind of cool. It's trying to get to where I can connect with them more and make it more personal with them. That's my whole goal as a teacher right now. It's just getting to know them was the first week. And now I'm trying to use what I got from them and maybe kind of like making the lessons more stuff they actually like, So I'm trying to relate to them. I'm one of the younger teachers. I'm 24. I'm the youngest teacher on campus by a lot. So it's fun. It's fun for me to come to my class and it be a little different. That's what I'm trying to do, really.
Yeah, you're like you're not that much older than them, right? Like, what are they, like 12?
Oh, they're 6th grade, so 11, 12.
11, 12. So yeah.
I had a kid turn 12 today. It was his birthday. Yeah.
Happy birthday, kid.
Yep.
Happy birthday, insert name here.
Yeah, I can't say his name though.
I'm not gonna say his name.
Get in trouble for that.
Happy birthday! Happy birthday! Insert name here.
Yeah.
Me personally, obviously y'all know I work in sports media. I work for a newspaper up here in West Texas, and it is football season. Last week, so the first week we missed, which was 2 weeks ago. We were working on just a bunch of personal stuff. We had some financial issues. Luckily, we had some help from another Old Main Entertainment member, Ryan. Thank you for chipping in, Ryan. It goes a long way. We appreciate that people enjoy this show enough to help chip in and keep it alive. So we really appreciate that. We missed 1 week. Last week, I had to come out with a fall preview, which is just a preview of all the fall sports. So I was able to get that done, but that just didn't leave me a lot of time. So really, we're just giving you excuses of why we don't care about you guys, and we just needed to say screw you guys. We're taking a 2-week break. No, in reality, we were just super busy. But we are happy to be back. Hiatus is over, as the title says, and we're going to talk some good stuff today. Like I said, high school football has started. Snyder started the year 0-1, came up short on a 14 seconds left 40-yard touchdown pass. It was a tough loss for the Tigers. Ira lost. Hermley, they won though, so they won 54-8. Got the mercy rule in the third quarter. I'll keep you guys updated on the 3 teams you give no shits about. That'll be my weekly teams you don't give shit about update.
They'll become Snyder fans if they follow the podcast. They'll eventually become Snyder fans.
I'll throw in a Snyder update. I don't know what Kerrville did week 1. I know that the Hondo Owls.
Kerrville actually doesn't start up until.
Oh, they're 5A.
Kerrville is 5A.
That's right.
Kerrville doesn't start until late September. You know that.
So. Yeah, I know that. I just forgot they were 5A. Hondo beat. I think it was. I don't remember who they played, but they won week 1, 31-0. Oh, it was Pleasanton, the Pleasanton Eagles. They beat them 31-0. Good win for the Owls to start the year. Starting this week, some more starting. College football comes back this weekend. Really excited about that. NFL football starts next week, and with the NFL football season comes another season of the Graff Family Fantasy Football League. I wrote a column on it this week. My mom actually posted it on her Facebook, so if you want to read that, go to my mom's Facebook.
That's awesome.
Wrote a column on the fantasy league. For those of you that don't know what it is, it's a league my dad and I started that includes mostly family, a couple really close friends. Parker's been in the league for a couple years now.
It's fun. I love it.
Yeah, it's a great league. It's gotten really competitive over the years. I've got a friend from Snyder, Cody Voiles, joining the league this year. He's going to be the Horned Frogs. He's getting the first pick because he took over the team that finished last year. So a little interested to see who he goes with.
Who
Ryan
won last year? I forgot. I completely forgot who won.
I'll let you know. Ryan, who is listening, finished second place to my cousin Zach Graff, who in his first year went 12-1 and dominated in the playoffs and won the title and won the little wooden trophy that my Uncle Joe Graff makes every year. So he started doing this year. It'll be a tradition going forward. So Zach's back this year. The entire league is back, but one, Cody Voiles, is filling that spot. We'll keep you updated on the Graff Fantasy Football League. Very important league. I know that you guys care about the NFL, but you really care about the Graff Football League.
Well, the NFL, as crazy as things have gotten, Graff Fantasy League is actually where it's at. No bullshit, just straight who's doing what, and a lot of shit talking too. We got a lot of people from hey, you know what? We should actually bring some people on from the Fantasy League onto the show. That'd be cool. If one person has a good week or one person starts doing well, we should bring them onto the show.
Bring them on and interview them about their
hype
fantasy
them up, maybe
team.
a little 5-minute segment or something. Yeah,
I think that would be funny. We'll do little interviews ESPN style. I know that Ryan has showed interest in coming on the show. We'll get him on the show at some point.
He needs to come on first.
He needs to come on. He is a big NFL guy. Ryan is a Madden streamer now, so check out his streams. I believe his streams are GG2Easy Games. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan. Put your Twitch in the chat. But that is that's what we're up to. Let's go ahead and talk some Cobra Kai. I didn't know that.
Awesome.
I didn't know that you watched much Netflix, because last time we talked Netflix shows when Tiger King and all that was out, you weren't really watching it. You watched Cobra Kai. I literally just finished it about under an hour ago. What did you think?
I finished it last night. It was awesome. I liked it. I mean, first off, I liked the 80s. 80s was a great decade. I wish I was around that time. I think that was probably one of the better decades. But the music, it's nostalgia, really. It's the music, the old Karate Kid movie. There was a lot of old school references to the movie, one of the best movies of all time. Mr. Miyagi, all that stuff. It was kind of giving shout outs to him. The show's about Johnny Lawrence, who is the guy who fights Daniel. The main character, Daniel, fights him in the tournament. He represents Cobra Kai, which is like the enemy dojo. And then, of course, you got Daniel, who's Mr. Miyagi's student, which is all about self-defense, not wanting to be too crazy with the offense, more about self-defense. And Daniel beats him. Daniel's a kid that comes out of nowhere and beats him. It's crazy. But then it picks up, and it starts off with Johnny, who's the bad guy, really. He was the bad guy in the movie, and now his life kind of sucks. Everything went to shit for him because he lost. He doesn't have a good relationship with his son. He's living in a really bad apartment. He's drinking every night. I mean, his life is complete shit. So it's funny to me to see that side of it. And he sees all these commercials with Daniel, because Daniel owns a car dealership now. So he's seeing all this stuff about Daniel living good, has a good house, has a hot wife, a great family, whatever. And it's just oh man, everywhere I go, I see this guy. So he wants to bring Cobra Kai back. and a lot of mixed feelings along the way. And that pretty much sums up, I don't want to spoil it for other people, that sums up kind of the background of it. And you see a lot of Johnny's side of it. And you're actually, well, this guy's not really that bad of a guy. I mean, Daniel did kind of take his girl and yada, yada, and you kind of see that side of it. So to me, as a guy who like analyzes characters now that I'm an English teacher, I see, well, point of view. Well, Johnny's point of view is going to be much different than Daniel's point of view. People see it through the eyes of the hero, but sometimes you got to see things through the eyes of the villain. As you get older, I think you tend to relate more to the villain. I think people relate more to the villain as they get older and start to understand why that guy became a villain. His life went to shit pretty quick. He had a terrible trainer. I mean, they talk about it in the movie, but there's reasons he does the things that he does. And you see little glimpses of him trying to get good. And of course, the season finale of 2 kind of throws that all out the window. So it does kind of backtrack a lot at the end of season 2. But it's a great show.
Didn't love the ending. I didn't love the ending, but I'm with you. I remember a few years ago, I remember reading this whole conspiracy theory that the whole movie, the joke of the entire movie is that that Daniel's the bad guy and that Johnny was the one getting screwed in the entire series. And it's funny to see that concept they really take both sides really well. I thought season 2 was really good up until the last episode where they really kind of show both sides. And it gets to the point where going into it, you're like, Daniel LaRusso's the good guy, and then Johnny Lawrence is the bad guy, right? Cobra Kai's bad. By the end of season 2, you see both sides, and you're rooting for both. At least I was. Like, you want them to come to some kind of agreement. Obviously, I'm not going to spoil the ending. Yeah, they don't. I'm just going to say that much. But
it freaks everything up, and I don't know
it throws everything off.
I don't know if the show can actually do very well if. Oh, hey, yay, we got a visitor. Is that a cat?
Yeah, that is Momo, our kitty.
Oh, okay, cool. So it does kind of, when you go into it, you're thinking, okay, yeah, Daniel's good, peace, love, all this stuff. But then you grow up and you're like, well, a lot of what Johnny's saying makes sense. A lot of what Cobra Kai stood for actually kind of makes sense now. I mean, strike first, no mercy. A lot of that, I mean, I hate to say it, but as you kind of see that side of it when you get older, life isn't easy. Sometimes you do have to show no mercy. Sometimes you do have to strike first. A lot of what Cobra Kai was preaching, you kind of see, well, that makes sense. And then at the end of season 2, you kind of see, well, one person showed mercy and he got screwed over. So it kind of sucks that when you actually do eventually show mercy, then you open yourself up to getting screwed over. I understand that obviously you do have to show mercy in life. It's not black and white. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. But the way they painted out Cobra Kai to be in the Karate Kid movies, which is like this evil empire. But then when Johnny tells the story, he's like, no, Cobra Kai changed my life. It gave me a way out. It helped me. And he helps a lot of kids. There was a lot of kids who were, quote unquote nerds that actually became a lot cooler and more confident because of Cobra Kai. So Cobra Kai, even though it was technically bad, helped a lot of kids, which was crazy.
And it's a surprisingly good series. Yeah. I went into it thinking it was just going to be capitalizing on the success of Karate Kid. Ends up being a pretty good series. I still have nightmares of the Karate Kid remake, so that's kind of why I was a little the one with the Smith kid. But
oh god, yeah. No, I understand that.
Yeah, but it was a pretty good series. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to season 3 and seeing what they do with it. Let's talk some sports. College football is coming back this weekend, and I am hyped. Texas State is going to be on ESPN on Saturday at 3 p.m. They're going to be hosting SMU. Welcome, Jeff Ray, to the show. Appreciate the smiley face. We're all smiles, too. We got the show back. But, yeah, so Texas State versus SMU, 3 p.m. Saturday on ESPN. Parker, what are you expecting from the Bobcat? I know we haven't talked Texas State sports in a long time. It's an era of our lives we try not to go back to too much. What are you expecting from Texas State football in week 1?
I'm excited about Texas State. I think I really like Jake Spavital. I do
too.
Like Jake Spavital.
I do too. I wish we could have been there and covered the team during his tenure.
Yeah, and I wish some of the guys like Hutch and Hutch White and Preston Demery, who's probably a senior now. I think Preston will be a senior this year.
Probably.
Hutch is done. Hutch finished out.
Graduated last year.
I really wish they could have grown up with kind of grown into the Jake Spavital system because I I think he's the kind of thing that Texas State needs. He brings a lot of swagger and a lot of like pride in being a Texas State Bobcat. That being said, as far as wins and losses go, I still don't have very high expectations. I really don't. But I think as far as like I say, I feel like we're saying this every year, but as far as competitive football goes, I think we're going to see some good games. The Sun Belt Conference, by the way, with all these other conferences dropping out and all these other things going on, the Sun Belt Conference is a solid conference, people. Look it up. Look up the teams in the Sun Belt. You got Appalachian State, Troy. I thought the Raging Cajuns, they always seem to do pretty good. Damn, it's a good conference. It's good football. So I would check out the Sun Belt Conference. If you're not familiar with Sun Belt Conference, I don't blame you. But if you're wanting some good, surprisingly good college football from teams you may not know, watch the Sun Belt because there's a lot of guys. There's a lot of talent. I mean, Brian London's another example of a guy that just tore up college football.
Do you see he recently got cut by the Rams a few weeks ago?
Oh,
I haven't seen a rebound yet. I haven't seen a rebound for him yet. But I do know that Aaron Brewer is still playing for the Titans,
which is awesome. By the way,
good.
I thought he was he seemed to me like he was undersized.
He was getting a lot of underrated like comments. Like people were like, "No, this kid can play. He's got the size. He's super athletic." So I think Aaron Brewer.
You start to see Texas State starting to get some names out there, and that's good. That's what it's all about. Wins
David
and losses
Mayo
is great.
Still kicking strong.
David Mayo, another Texas State guy. Texas State players in general are starting to get more noticed, I think, as soon as, Jake Spavital is really – and I think they're trying to bring the XFL back from what I understood Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is. So maybe Hutch and some other guys can go play for some XFL and maybe hone their skills. I really hope they get the XFL back. I think it would be good for those guys like that. But Sun Belt Conference football is my point. It's going to be good. As far as wins and losses, though, I mean, it's a tough conference. I don't know if the Texas State's going to be in the top half or not. I feel like they may be more towards the middle than they were last year, but still probably going to be lower half if I had to guess.
You're probably right. I'm really excited to see what Brady McBride does, friend of the Andrew Zimmel show. Shout out Andrew Zimmel if he's listening. Brady McBride's getting the start Saturday. That'll be fun. Jeff Ray asks, will the Sun Belt get a top 25 ranking since fewer teams are playing? Now, it's possible. I mean, I think Troy's been a top 25 team in recent memory.
It's not like it hasn't happened before. It's happened with.
I think, like you were saying,
it's a good question.
It's a great question. I think there's definitely some teams in the Sun Belt that could be top 25, whether everybody was playing or not. And
I would go App State. I'd go App State.
App State or Troy are my best bets to do that. And another thing that you have to consider, a lot of these teams, like look at Texas State. They picked up Boston College. They're playing SMU. Like I'm sure I don't know for a fact, but I'm sure the other Sun Belt teams have picked up games like that other people lost games. That's a chance to beat a higher ranked team and get into those rankings. So I think there's definitely a higher chance of Sun Belt getting a top 25 ranking this season. That's a really good question.
I love when we do play those schools like that because you score a touchdown or you do something good, it's really magnified. I mean, you don't even have to win the game to get recognition. Oh, Texas State, that's a cool team. Oh, wow, okay. Where are they?
Their jerseys are sick.
And then you look at their jerseys, like, oh man, this team looks cool. And then it's all up to how the team is represented after that. But I mean, just the initial recognition of playing a big team like that is going to be is cool. So I think the Sun Belt has gotten ranked teams before this. So I think definitely before the season's over, one of the teams will be ranked. I think it's fair to say one or two of the teams will be ranked at some point in the season. They may not end top 25, but at some point in the season, App State or Troy is going to be ranked. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. But yeah,
I would second that. That's a great question. Let's talk playoff basketball. Rockets, Thunder. Brandon O'Hara texted me a question for you on this.
Oh God, I've blocked him on everything. But yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. I have. I've told you. But,
he was basically asking, what do you think's going to happen Game 7, Rockets, Thunder, and what's your reaction if they lose?
Well, I'm going to be upset if they lose. Obviously, terrible reaction, Brandon. That's what you want to hear. I'm going to be upset. The Rockets should win the game. They were up 2-0 in the series. They should have won this series in 4 or 5 games. They really should have. Game 3, you have a lead in the fourth quarter. Chris Paul outplays everybody. Game 4, same thing. Game 5, Rockets come back, blow them out. Really no contest. Game 6, again, Rockets have a pretty good lead with about 3 minutes left in the game. They not a double-digit lead, but they're up by like 6 or 8 points. 3 minutes left in the game. Okay, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, you're supposed to close those games out, right? You're up 8 to 6 points. Good teams close games like that. Well, Westbrook started dribbling down the lane, and then he would get up to the basket, and then he would just completely throw it away. 2 or 3 bad turnovers in a row, and that's why a lot of jokes online on Twitter were saying, oh, man, Russell Westbrook finally won a playoff game for the Thunder, and, joking around. Because he still looked like he was playing for the Thunder in game 6. He was terrible in game 6, and he threw the ball away. He looked awful in game 6. But I'm not even going to blame Russell Westbrook, and I could easily – my dad's listening – I could easily blame Mike D'Antoni because my dad thinks D'Antoni is a garbage coach, doesn't have a lot of discipline.
Garbage.
Probably right. If you're used to discipline, and he's from those old Rockets teams where there actually was a structure and you stuck to it, and now it just looks like street ball out there. So he's not a big fan. But I respect his opinion on D'Antoni. But I'm not even going to blame D'Antoni. If you're James Harden and you're the best player on the team, and I'm consistent on every sport, I think if you're the best player on the team, you have to take ownership and you have to lead, right? Tim Duncan, he led. Dirk
J.J. Watt leads.
Dirk leads. J.J. Watt's a leader. Go through the history. Harden doesn't.
Jeff Ray said he sucks.
Yeah, he does. He's right. He's right. We're getting to James Harden. He is not a leader. Never has been a leader. And when Russell Westbrook is making those plays and spazzing out and throwing the ball away, Westbrook does that every time. Westbrook did that on the Thunder. The biggest critique of Westbrook is that he's too fast. He goes too hard sometimes. Sometimes you do need to slow it down and be careful. Westbrook doesn't know how to be careful. That's his problem. You can't expect him to change now. He's been doing it his whole life. Harden, on the other hand, he knows how to close games. He should have pulled him to the side and said, hey, give me the basketball. Let me take my step back 3. Let's end this. All I need to do is make 1 or 2 shots, and the game's over. But no. On the other hand, you see Chris Paul. He closed out the game. That's why the Rockets were so deadly with Chris Paul, is because he enjoyed those moments, and Harden shies away from those moments. Chris Paul, as old as he is a much better leader, maybe not physical talent-wise, but a much better leader than James Harden, and will forever be a much better leader than James Harden. And that's why CP3's team, if the game is close in the fourth quarter, the Thunder are going to win the game. The only hope that the Rockets have is if their threes are falling and it's a double-digit lead going into the fourth quarter. If it's not double-digit going into the fourth quarter, I think they will lose the game. So, yeah, there's my breakdown.
How worried are you that they're actually going to lose?
I think they'll lose. I think they're going to lose tonight.
Oh, you're predicting a loss?
Yeah, I do. I was on the wag. I was Rockets in 4 when this thing started. They won the first 2 games, and I'm like, blowout. All right, they can't keep up. Oh, CP3's looking old out there. Yeah, I was talking all that crap. And then game 3, and they choked that away in the fourth quarter. Game 4, like I said, they did that. Game 5 looked like the actual Houston Rockets. It was another 34-point win. They blew them out again. It's crazy to me that the Rockets can beat a team by 34 points and then come back and lose the next game. Have you ever seen anything like that? The Rockets, they blow a team out, and then, if it was the Spurs, they would consistently win those games, right? It may not be 34
what they did for
points.
A long time.
It's not, but if they were that much better than the other team, they would make sure to step on their throat and close the game out or close the series out. The Rockets don't have that. They beat a team by 34 points, and they lollygag, and then they choke, and they lose game 6 by 4 points or whatever. You're not supposed to beat a team by 34 and then come back and lose the next game. That's not how things are supposed to go. But the Rockets have been doing that for as long as I've been a fan of James Harden. that James Harden-led Rockets have been known for that. They always seem to choke in the big situations, even though they are, in my opinion, talent-wise, the much better team. Talent-wise, you can't really argue with the Rockets. They've got 2 MVPs on their team. Not many people can say they've got 2 actual MVP winners on their team. They've got the leading scorer in the NBA. You think they would be a better closeout team, but they're just not.
Got the cat meowing in the background. I apologize for that.
That's fine.
Let me ask you this. If the Rockets aren't a threat, who are the threats this year? I'm going to be honest. You know me. I'm not an NBA guy. I haven't watched. I know the Lakers are good. I know the Clippers are supposed to be pretty good. Who are, in your opinion, who are the legit contenders to win this year's finals?
I think it is the Lakers. That's a boring answer, but I think that is the Lakers. I think it is the Lakers' year to lose. I think LeBron has had a lot of distractions with the BLM and all that stuff that he's involved with off the court. He's a big spokesman for social justice, and he's that's his thing. He's been like that forever. He's like Muhammad Ali. He takes a lot of controversial topics and he takes a stand. And whether you agree or disagree, you got to give it to him the fact that he takes a stand and does those things. I think it kind of hinders his ability to play. But on the other hand, they played the Blazers. They won in 5. And let's not forget the Blazers were like one of the hottest teams in the NBA. And the Lakers, they lose game 1, and then they go on to win the next 4 games. So as much as I hate to say it, the Lakers are still the team to beat. They took a red-hot Blazers team and stopped them. They let them get the first game, but then they shut them down. And the Lakers are so big. They've got 2 or 3 7-footers on their team. The Rockets play small ball. Their biggest guy is like 6'7", 6'8". The Lakers have JaVale McGee, Dwight Howard, Anthony Davis, who, God, if he plays the Rockets small ball, he's going to score 40 points a night. So it just seems to me like the Lakers, who the Rockets would play in the next round, would be a tough team to beat. And then you go on the other end, and you've got Toronto, I think, is really good team basketball. Even though they don't have Kawhi, they're still playing lights-out basketball. Miami is another team on the East Coast that beat the Bucks last night. Oh, yeah, it was the last night, I think. Yeah, that Jimmy Butler, a Houston boy, or he's from Tomball, but he's from the Houston area. Jimmy Butler led the Miami Heat over the Milwaukee Bucks, the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. I'm not saying they're going to knock off the Bucks, but they did look good in Game 1, and Jimmy Butler looked like the best player on the court after Game 1. So we'll see how that. But Miami, Toronto, in the Eastern Conferences are a team to watch. But I still think the Lakers are the team that's going to probably win it all. Sadly,
just very sad for us Spurs fans. Yeah. Where we're entering an era of irrelevancy. I'm even seeing like there are rumors that the Brooklyn Nets are going after Pop, which I don't like. Not even a little bit.
It's gonna be crazy if it happens because they've already got KD and Kyrie. They've got a good team, but
you could see why Pop would be intrigued to go there. But that would be that would
be sad.
If the Spurs dynasty wasn't over yet, that would officially be the end of it.
And that would be so stupid for it to happen too. If San Antonio, I'm not even a San Antonio fan.
He just needs to retire a Spurs.
Why would he leave San Antonio? He's literally a god in San Antonio. If he goes to Brooklyn, it's not going to be the same treatment he would get in San Antonio. I'll just say that.
But, no, probably not. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know how much truth there is to those rumors, but
no, I've heard them too. They're out there. That's true.
Which I don't like, but anyway, let's talk. This would be a terrible episode of the 1203 if we didn't talk Houston Astros baseball. There's actually quite a bit to talk about too. A lot has happened in the past 3 weeks. Kyle Tucker is officially Ted Williams. It's official. He is the next version of Ted Williams. The Ted jokes were not jokes. They were predictions. Ted Williams 2.0.
God, he is good.
He is lights really out good right now. He's literally carrying the offense. Michael Brantley had a big game yesterday, even though we ended up losing that game because Ryan Presley is looking awful right now.
Altuve's starting to get better too. He's starting to improve.
Of course he is. I mean, he's just caught all the heat.
I know.
Brandon says that Pop going to Brooklyn won't happen, which I hope he's right about that. But whether it's true or not, you hate to see the rumors. Anyway, but yeah, I think Altuve's working his way back. Kyle Tucker's been hitting like a madman. He's got like 7 triples. That's just like leading the league. He's up there in RBIs.
Yeah.
People, I have been on the Tucker train since the thing started moving, and I never got off. I've told y'all this dude's for real. I've told you he can hit. I've told you he can run. And here he's doing it. I've been saying it for years that Kyle Tucker is legit.
One person had a meme that was like Kyle Tucker, and then it was the Pac-Man, like greater than, and then it had Mike Trout on the other end. I'm like, whoa,
I wouldn't go that far.
But it was funny. It was Astros Twitter, and I retweeted it, and I supported the idea. But it was just a picture of Kyle Tucker greater than Mike Trout, and it was like, well, okay.
Hey, if the
That's talking
Astros,
shit, man.
If the Astros make a playoff run, and he plays a factor, he's officially done more in his career than Mike Trout. I mean, playoffs. Mike Trout's never done anything in the playoffs. So
playoffs do matter. Playoffs matter.
Kyle Tucker's a better baseball player than Mike Trout if the Astros make a playoff run and Tucker has an impact. Just because what's important, right? Playoffs.
Because the Angels aren't going to make the playoffs.
No.
The Angels aren't going to make the playoffs.
And Mike Trout is probably going to play in like 2 playoff games. I guess he could probably make a divisional berth at some point. So like maybe 3 games, 4 games if he gets lucky in his career. Meanwhile, Kyle Tucker is going to lead us to another World Series. So
sign that big paycheck, and he's
Kyle,
just going.
Kyle Ted Tucker. That's his name. What do you think of the quiet trade deadline? A lot of teams made moves. Both the Houston Astros and the New York Yankees did not. The Astros didn't add pitching. They didn't trade away
I was about
pitching.
to say, I don't
they
think
didn't
they
add
did,
relief pitching. What are your thoughts on that? Personally, I'm okay with it. I would have liked an arm, a not super expensive arm, but I would have liked an arm. But, what are your thoughts on the quiet trade deadline?
I thought with the whole COVID thing, and I predicted this earlier, I'm surprised that any teams have made. What's the biggest move that was made? Because I'm surprised that any team made any moves during this year with the short season, and you're not really having a lot of time to get
Mike Clevenger to the Padres was a big one. The Padres got significantly better.
Padres are a very good team. Padres may win the National League.
They added a lot of big pieces. I mean, they added Mitch Moreland, who's been one of the hottest lefty bats.
So the Padres are going for the jugular. They're trying to win this thing. Looks like
they're going for it. This is their year. Fernando Tatis is playing out of his mind. You'd add Mike Clevenger for fairly cheap. I think they gave up. I don't even remember the prospects' names. I think one of them. I don't even remember. Oh, Josh Naylor was one of them. He's a first base prospect. He's been in the league for a long time. Jeff says Astros won't make it this year. Too many injuries, no bullpen. Are you meaning to the World Series? They'll definitely make playoffs.
I think he's talking about World Series.
I think they're a World Series team. I truly do. You're going to get – I mean, let's look at the rotation right now. You have Zach Greinke, Lance McCullers, Framber Valdez. Yeah. Framber Valdez has been better statistically than Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole has fallen off a cliff.
Let's talk about that.
Did you see the interview?
Garrett Cole has not done anything since going to the Yankees. Not that I hated him. When he was the Astros, he gave it his all, and I do think A.J. Hinch screwed him over in Game 7. I do admit that. All those things are true. But right now, as a Yankee, he is not the Cole train everybody thought he was getting. He is not even a fraction of that. It's funny to see Garrett Cole struggle
in
a Yankees uniform. In a Yankees uniform, it's hilarious.
Did you see the interview where he was literally almost in tears because he was afraid he might be tipping pitches? I don't know if he actually was, but it sure looked like he was. But I mean, look.
Oh, well, he probably was. He's an emotional guy.
The reason he had success in Houston was because of Brent Strom's pitching philosophy.
Strom, baby.
Strom teaches you to pitch 100%. Up, down, north, south. That's the way he pitches. He wants fastballs high and in, and he wants you 12-6, baby. Break it off. And it just works, man. The Astros have found a way to get the spin rate up, whether it's cheating or not. Every team uses tar, so don't come at me about that. Look, you can ask Trevor Bauer, who he's an asshole, by the way. There is a reason that pitchers come to Houston and find success. It's because of Brent Strom. If there is a more valuable commodity in baseball other than pitching, it's Brent Strom. Think of all the pitchers that have come through Houston, turned into studs and left. What's the first one I can name was Doug Fister. Comes in, he's irrelevant. Comes to Houston for a year, puts together really good numbers, signs a pretty decent deal somewhere. I don't remember where he went. He's gone now. He's not playing. Charlie Morton comes in. The Rays were using him as a sinker baller.
CFM.
He comes into Houston. Brent Strom teaches him to, spin the ball, pitch up in the zone, come at him, And he does that. Look at next thing you know, he's a Cy Young candidate. He kept that philosophy, went to Tampa Bay, and is still as good as he was now. Garrett Cole comes in, also a low ball pitcher. He's a sinker ball pitcher. That's the way that the Pirates were teaching him. Comes to Houston, Brent Strom changes the philosophy. Hey man, let's focus on spinning the ball. Let's focus on pitching north and south. Dominates because he's using his abilities to his max. He's a dude that throws 101 miles per hour. Why wouldn't you be pitching up in the zone?
Yeah.
So comes to Houston. Now he's in New York, where I'm sure they're trying to change his philosophy in some aspect. New York doesn't have any guys that pitch like that. I don't remember Luis Severino being that type of pitcher. Masahiro Tanaka is a shifty, change your shape pitcher. I mean, it's just the mindset that Brent Strom has these guys pitching under. It just elevates them to another level. Still doing better than Verlander. That's just rude. Not doing better than Framber freaking Valdez. Yeah, I bet you don't even know who Framber Valdez is, Brandon. But he is out pitching. He is out pitching your boy Garrett Cole, the guy you gave 9-year, $100 to, is getting out pitched by a dude who has like the weirdest like frohawk I've ever seen. It's like bleached. That dude's out pitching your boy. So you might want to figure things out with Garrett Cole before you come at us about Justin Verlander. But oh, and by the way, Verlander is on the brink of coming back.
We have an all-out war. Oh, yeah, by the way, that's good. So people that jumped over Dusty Baker saying that Verlander's probably going to come back, just chill off, Dusty, okay? I'm still a huge Dusty Baker fan.
I love Dusty.
I don't care. I don't even care what moves he makes during the game because I love Dusty Baker. I love him because he cussed out Joe Kelly. That's the only reason I love Dusty Baker. I don't need another reason to love a guy, okay? And besides – he doesn't even have to coach. He just sits there with his toothpick in his mouth, hanging out. I love Dusty Baker. I'm glad they are keeping him for another season, right? They are signing him.
Yeah, he's already been extended. He's already been extended till next year.
There's like the whole out comment war going on in the live chat. So
I love it. I love this conversation.
Brandon O'Hara's like still doing better than Verlander.
Yeah.
And then my dad's like, let the Yankees win. It's an asterisk season anyway. Doesn't count.
Which that kind of plays into what Ryan asked. Ryan said, would it feel better to win this season than any other year? Personally, I don't think it makes. I don't see any reason going all out this year. Obviously, it's still going to be a World Series, like wouldn't matter whether you win or not. But
yes, winning a World Series would still feel good. Winning a World Series would still feel good. Don't get me wrong, but it definitely wouldn't feel better. If anything, it would feel a little bit like it was only a 60-game season, no fans. Nothing beats winning a 162-game season with a packed stadium. Like the Astros did in 2017. Suck it. Google it, Brandon, if you want. They still won. The trophy's still theirs. Like the Astros did in 2017. And like the Yankees really haven't done in a very long time. I don't even remember the last time the Yankees have done it. But
it's been over 10 years.
Packed house or not. I mean, 10 years ago, I was a little teenager. I was a little shit. I don't remember what I was doing 10 years ago. I mean, I don't know how little Brandon was 10 years ago. Probably very. But it was just so long ago that it's not even worth talking about. So, yeah, in 2017, I remember that day. 10 years ago, what was I doing 10 years ago? That was a long time ago.
And Brandon makes a good point. He says the Yankees have Stanton, Judge, and a big part of their team coming back, which is a reason they didn't make any moves. That's also the same reason the Astros didn't make any moves. They've got half their bullpen coming back. They've got half their rotation coming back.
People forget all the bullpen guys that were hurt. It was a lot of them.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much half the bullpen was hurt. At one point, we only had one guy in our bullpen that was a regular bullpen guy, and he wasn't even the best bullpen. The best bullpen pitchers we had were the guys that coming out of Double-A were coming in and striking out Cody Bellinger. Like, I mean, it's been remarkable how decent the bullpen's been, considering 9 of them are rookies. Like, the Astros have made 9 rookie debuts this year, and they're still second in the AL West and probably still going to make the World Series. Like there's no team I can name the AL teams that can beat them. It's maybe the New York Yankees if they're fully healthy. Yeah, that's it.
No, you're talking about AL. If you're talking about AL teams, I think you're right.
I think the Yankees are the only team that has a shot at knocking off. And
how crazy is that? After all this crap the Astros have been through this year, they're still hanging around, and they're still almost I mean, they're still a contender. If they don't make the World Series, that's fine.
There was
I still think they're a contender now because they've gotten better.
The Fangraphs still has the Astros with the highest chance at winning the World Series. Think about that. Yeah, Fangraphs, which is a very, very credible website for statistics.
Yeah. So that one's just straight stats, probably. Just like taking the data, crunching it, no bias. I like that.
Oh, and Brandon, I wasn't near enough a big enough baseball fan to give a crap about any of those other World Series. I've been a big Astros fan since I was young, but like I didn't really start following the team to 2010. You can hold on to all the trophies that happened when we were in middle school and elementary school, but I'll take the ones that I actually got to watch during my lifetime and like could actually remember.
I'll admit being excited about the Astros in the early 2000s and 2005 obviously was an exciting year. So I admit I've seen the Yankees play good, but I'm not gonna admit I remember any of it.
I couldn't tell you a single moment from any of those World Series.
I mean, no, I'm not gonna remember.
I couldn't
it's
tell
all
you
about moments.
I could tell you that
it's about moments.
I could tell you that Derek Jeter was on the team, Mark Teixeira was on the team.
Yeah,
CC might have been on one of those teams. I could tell you. Oh, Hideki Matsui was that a player? Yeah,
I just remember all the
Johnny Damon,
all the steroids the Yankees used, and
all the steroids.
They used them all, man. Every single one.
And then there's that video of them cheating in last year's ALCS that we've just completely swept under the rug.
Oh wait, yeah, open the letter.
Why don't we talk about how freaking Joe Kelly throws at Alex Bregman's head blatantly.
I'm actually going to take the Yankees side on this one.
Gets 8 games. Ramon Laureano charges a dugout. Gets what was it? No, Joe Kelly got 6 games. Ramon Laureano gets 8 games.
Oh, that was the guy. Yeah.
Aroldis Chapman very blatantly. The dude throws 104. 104. He throws. It's bottom of the 9th, 2 outs. The first pitch of the at bat throws it behind the dude's head. And it didn't miss by much. If there is anything I have made clear on this show, there is no place in baseball for throwing at someone's head. Especially when you throw 104.
He almost killed the guy, by the way.
He would have murdered him. He would have killed him.
And I agree with that. And I agree it's bad. Whatever. My only hypocrisy is in this whole thing is
Chapman got 3 games.
Is I guess the media cover. Like the MLB itself has problems, 100%. Should have been way more than 3 games, whatever. But the way the media has reacted, Chapman throws at a guy's head, he's a villain. Joe Kelly throws at a guy's head, and he's a superhero. He's praised because he's throwing at the Astros, so he's a gosh dang hero. On the other hand, you got Chapman throwing at a guy's head, and he's been heavily scrutinized. So I agree with that. He should have gotten more games, obviously. But it's just funny to me that Joe Kelly is still seen as this hero taking out Astros. Chapman does the exact same thing, and people are like, whoa, man, you're taking it too far, bro. You could have hit that guy in the head. Well, yeah, you could have hit Bregman in the head. What the hell?
A prime example is Trevor Bauer, and in like a 24-hour time frame, dogging, I don't remember who it was, but he dogs on another team for throwing at someone's head, and then in the same freaking 24 hours, tries to wear Joe Kelly shoes in a game. Like, It wraps up all the hypocrisy in sports media all in one little 24-hour bit.
Where are your brain cells?
Like, it's the same thing.
You can't defend Joe Kelly and scrutinize You're scrutinizing both of them. 100% agree with you.
I am scrutinizing anyone that throws at someone else's head.
I agree. You're consistent. But the lack of consistency of Joe Kelly's a hero, and now you're mad at Chapman. No, don't get me with that shit. Either you like it or you don't. You can't have it both ways.
No, y'all know how much I love Lance McCullers. Yeah. If Lance McCullers threw at Cody Bellinger's head, I'd be pissed at Lance McCullers.
You would be,
There's no place for it in baseball. If you have beef, hit him in the ass, hit him in the thigh, hell, hit him in the ribs. I mean, that'll hurt, but like it'll heal. But if you hit a dude in the fucking jaw, excuse my F word, he's not gonna heal. Ask Giancarlo Stanton. He wears a freaking cover now, and he has hatred for Mike Fiers because he hit him in the jaw, whether it was intentional or not. I had a guy come at me the other day saying something like on Twitter. He was like, and I'm sorry about the F word. I really apologize for that. I get heated about this. But I had a guy on Twitter the other day come at me saying something like, maybe don't cheat next time or something like that. And I was like, why don't you ask Giancarlo? Oh, no, the guy said it's part of baseball. They signed up for it. Like, just, of being hit.
Signed up for it.
Being hit in the face. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm sure Giancarlo Stanton sent Mike Fiers a thank you letter for the what 20,000 stitches he had to have in his jaw.
That's in the contract. You got to take a baseball to the face. I didn't know that.
It's assault, straight up. It is a freaking assault. That's what it is.
That's
what it is.
That's stupid.
So,
but I want to take a time to remind people we're sponsored by. Oh, it doesn't even work. Sponsored by Starburst.
I wish we were sponsored. I would have just lost our sponsor with that F-bomb.
Yeah, I just want to remind people we still have sponsors. No, they don't pay me anything. I just eat them on air for fun.
But man, I get so heated about that kind of stuff. Yeah. But there's no excuse for it. It's happened 4 times this year already. Every time it happens, like everybody gets uproar about it. The one time they didn't get uproar about it when it was against the Astros, which is the stupidest thing ever, because it's no matter what you're throwing at a guy's head. The guy that got thrown at last night, I think his name is Michael Brosseau. I think he's a rookie. I'm pretty sure this is his first year in the league. So like, you're gonna throw at a dude's head. It's like his first year. He's like probably like 24 years old. Potentially ruin his career first year. Because what were they even beefing about? Something like a brawl like in 2017, like that's what we're throwing at each other about.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so stupid.
I'm so over it. I get so heated about this throwing at people's heads. There's no place for it in baseball, no matter the circumstances. That is permanent, potentially permanent damage that can't be healed. Especially with Aroldis Chapman, who throws 104 when he's throwing his hardest. The pitch that he missed Brosseau with was 101. 101. If he didn't have the helmet and that hits him, he's dead.
So many people. I love sports too. I get passionate about it, but all these people out for blood need to re-examine their life. Like these people tweeting, the Astros deserve to get hit. You should have knocked them out. They should get beat to death with baseballs. Like, there's some really nasty stuff on Twitter, anti-Astros stuff. And the Astros fans, they go back and forth with them too. But I'm just saying, all this venom that comes with like this whole topic of, it seems like to me, people are just getting angrier and angrier every year. It seems like angrier and angrier. Like, we cheated. We're sorry, whatever. The past is the past. Let's move on. Let's play 2020. See if your team can win now. Whatever, we're getting better.
We'll even play along with we're the only ones that cheated, and we're so
sorry.
Yeah.
We'll accept it.
We'll play along.
Namaste. We're cheaters. Whatever. We cheated. We're spoiled. Whatever. Even if you take the trophy from us, we're still gonna know in 2017 we won. Yeah, we're still gonna know in 2017 the Astros won. I mean, that banner in Minute Maid Park's never coming down. I don't care what the MLB does. The banner, they're not going. They're not going to Minute Maid Park and taking that down. So the banner still stands. I still got a championship, a little fake championship ring. So it's not going out of my memory, especially after Hurricane Harvey, how important it was. So all this aggression, all this thirst for blood, it makes you look silly. It really does. As fans, as other teams, it makes you look silly. It was 3 years ago, man. If I was mad about something 3 years ago, that's a bigger problem with me. That means I 100%. Haven't moved on with my life.
100%.
Yeah, so that's my little rant on that.
But, yeah, I 100% agree. Let's move on before I say another F-bomb. But let's talk about a little bit of the positives that the Astros have seen. I know they lost last night to the Rangers, but they won a lot of games before I think they lost 2 in a row now, but before that they were on a really big winning streak. Of course, they got railed by the Padres a few weeks ago, but I mean the Padres are blowing through everybody right now. But Brandon is right. He said earlier that the biggest trade was Clevenger to the Padres. That's 100%. The Padres got a lot better. I could pull up a list of the trades. I don't need to look at them. I know they got Austin Nola, who was tearing it up for the Mariners. They got Austin Nola from the Mariners. He's a catcher. It's a good defensive catcher that's usually not been a bat, but this year he's hitting the ball well. They got Mike Clevenger. They got a couple bullpen arms. I think they got Tyler Wilson from the Tigers, who's a pretty decent reliever. So Padres got a lot better. They're looking like a real threat out of the NL. Dodgers, I don't believe, did much of anything. Yankees didn't make a move. Rangers traded away Mike Minor, traded him to the A's. He went to the A's, so now Mike Fiers has a minor that he can play with, so good for him.
Oh God, there's a history to that too, by the way.
There is a long
I don't want to go into it,
Fiers.
But you guys need to Google Mike Fiers, and a lot of stuff's going to come up. But anyway.
But the A's got him a minor because I know that he's at his best when he's got a minor. So
God, you had to get it again.
Minor to the A's. Of course I did.
I had to stress that out.
Hey, I hate Mike Fiers. Mike Fiers.
People need to look it up. Mike Fiers in trouble. I mean, just look it up.
Just look it up. Yeah,
just look it up. We're not gonna. Yeah,
we're not gonna spell it out for you. But Mike Miners is a sex offender. Anyway,
we did. Moving on. Oh, we did it. Well, hey, now that we're here, let's talk about hashtag save our children. People, look it up.
But yeah, I still think the Astros are a legitimate threat at the World Series. It's going to come down to how healthy they can get and how successful these pitchers can keep being. Because, as you know, most of the bullpen are rookies, but a lot of those rookies have been pretty solid. The guy that blew the game last night was Ryan Presley, who's supposed to be our best pitcher. So the younger guys are getting the job done. We just got to get the older guys up to par. The offense is going to be there. Michael Brantley is back. Obviously, Jordan's not going to play this year, but Kyle Tucker is kind of making up for that. With that left-handed bat, Kyle Tucker is MVP candidate through and through. Not really, but he's definitely playing lights out. Should be AL Rookie of the Year, hopefully. So, I don't know. It's been an interesting season. The Astros are still in it, even though things have gone horribly, horribly wrong. And that should give Astros fans a lot of confidence going into the postseason. But, I don't know. I guess only time will tell. Yeah, I don't know. I think that might be a decent place to end it on. I don't really have anything else. NFL starts next week. What are you expecting from the Texans week 1?
Oh, I'm happy. So they play so was there no preseason this year?
No, they canceled preseason games. So next week is the first slate of games.
Thursday night game, Texans Chiefs.
Well, that's gonna be
that's gonna be a good game. I think. I still love Watson. I like the receiver core. I think it's faster. It's not as consistent as when we had Hopkins. We don't have that big name guy. But I'm starting to get a little bit more excited about it because football is just such a big part of my life, sixth grade when I started playing football, it changed. I started to love it, So I still get excited about it. When the games roll around, I'm gonna be diehard Texans. I can talk bad about them now, but as soon as the season gets closer, I am getting a little bit more excited about it. So I'm excited. I think as far as the NFC goes, the Cowboys are in the middle of it. I think they're
a threat.
I think they have a threat. I think they really do. I think the AFC is pretty much locked up. I really do think the Chiefs are going to win. But as far as and I actually am really excited about Joe Burrow and the Bengals. I don't think they're going to be a great team, but I'm excited to see what Joe Burrow does in his first year as a quarterback. I think he can do some things. So I'm excited to see that storyline too.
If they can get through the season and everything goes well, it should be a fun NFL season. So I'm looking forward to that. I will be tuning into Texas State football Saturday. So maybe we can talk about that a little bit, how that goes. Next, this Sunday is the Graph Fantasy Football League draft. We can talk about maybe how our teams ended up being. I have 2 teams this year. I am in a league with Cody, the guy that I mentioned that's joining the league. I'm the Whataburger All-Stars in that one. I'm playing his wife, actually. This week, the Booty Warriors.
I'm in another league too, by the way. Yeah,
I'm
in a league
2
with my
guys.
cousin. So I understand. I'm in a league with my cousin, and we actually all pitched in $20 and got you guys already had history and things like that, and that's awesome. I'm jumping in, but I'm kind of just starting out with this league, with my cousin's league, and we're starting to make history a little bit. So we bought this belt. We had a draft. They're all in the Houston area, so I joined via Zoom. We all had the draft, and it was cool to see. We all pitched in and bought a fantasy football championship belt, like a real gold belt.
That's pretty cool.
Belt. And so the winner gets to get the belt. And I think the loser last year, the loser had to shave his head. The loser, like the lowest guy, had to shave his head. And this year, I think we talked about the loser staying at a Waffle House for 24 hours. And the only way he can reduce his time is he gets an hour each time he eats a waffle. So that's the only way he can reduce his time. So he has to eat 12 waffles or, he has to eat a bunch of waffles to get out of there at a decent time.
Either 24 waffles or you're sitting
I told the guys, if I lose, I'm not going to be there very long. 24 waffles? I'm out in a minute. I'm done.
Do you have to pay for it yourself or – because that's also part of the challenge.
I would, that's a good question because I'm over here by myself, so I don't know how they would know if I don't plan on getting last place. Last year, some knucklehead got last place. I don't plan on getting last place, but if I were to get last place, there would have to be some way of them knowing I actually did it because I'm not over there in the Houston area.
Maybe you could like live stream it onto our YouTube channel. That'd be entertaining.
That would be awesome.
That would be super entertaining.
So now everybody on the 1203 is going to root for me to lose. But yeah, no, that's
the weekly is Parker losing update. That's going to be the new
24 hours in a Waffle House, man. I actually don't. That's my type of people. I'm game. Let's go.
That's Parker's type of challenge. Maybe we'll just do it on our channel just to do it.
Yeah, just me and you, just going and eating waffles at Waffle. That would be funny. Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows what you will see here on Old Man Entertainment in the 1203 next week. We will try and talk a little bit more NFL since it'll be week 1. Maybe if Ryan is available, he's an NFL guy, we'll get him on. If not, we'll find an NFL guest. We'll talk some NFL football. I think that'd be a really interesting show. But if not, we will have a good show for you next week regardless. Now, what that's going to be, we don't know yet, but just stay tuned. We'll have something for you. So thank y'all for tuning in again. Got a little heated today talking about pegging people in the face, but hey, there's no place for it, so I'm going to get heated about it. Anyway, Parker, have a great week. Go Bobcats, go Astros. We will see y'all next week.
See ya.